Good morning, Asbury, and welcome back to Newswatch 3. I'm Rachel Law.
And I'm Addie Smith, and we're here to give you your weekly updates. I know we're both definitely glad to be back on campus, and we hope you had a great spring break.
This week, we have a recap of this year's sophomore musical, Mary Poppins, a look at another Wilmore business, and your local and national sports updates. Asbury's Black Box Theater was transformed over the weekend to London, England, where the magical journey of the famous nanny, Mary Poppins, took place.
All for this year's sophomore musical, which is a staple here at Asbury. Our very own Rachel Law sat down with the cast and director to show us what the production was really like.
This year's show really highlighted what Asbury students are capable of. Let's take a closer look. Asbury's entirely student-run sophomore musical came back in lots of color this year. Mary Poppins has concluded a weekend of 3 performances that told the story of a family coming back together through the hard times. Lead Lainey Hill shares how much she loved the experience.
I wanted to join SOMU specifically for the reason of coming together with my cast and with my graduating class and just doing something that we don't get the opportunity to do and just creating something so beautiful and honoring God in a specific way, such a specific way that is Mary Poppins.
Student director Hannah Young directed the musical in hopes of gaining experience for the future.
I've directed since I was actually 14 years old, and so I kind of came in, and once I figured out SOMU was a thing, was instantly jumped on that and was compiling my plan as to how I was going to direct that, because it is going to help me with my future career.
Characters brought to life by the cast created a colorful performance. The story was told with hopes to share a bigger message with the audience.
I think just the message that Mary Poppins shares of just it takes such a little thing to be kind to one another, and there's so many just other little important messages throughout the show, as fun and as bright and as colorful as it is.
Audience reactions were exactly what the cast had hoped for.
This is the best musical I've ever seen in my entire life. There were moments where I was crying, where I was standing up cheering, stomping my feet and laughing.
In the words of Mary Poppins herself,
remember, anything can happen if you let it.
In Wilmore, I'm Rachel Law with Newswatch 3. This year, SOMU went all out for their take on Mary Poppins with tap dancing, big dance numbers, and of course, flying kites. If you didn't get the chance to see the performances this past weekend, you'll have to stick around for next year's show to see what the rising sophomores put on.
SOMU was not the only Asbury production in the works. This week, Asbury's newest sitcom will be premiering for a live audience in the TV studio in Miller. We have our live reporter Spencer Harvey joining us from their new set to give us the rundown about the student-produced sitcom. Hey, Spencer.
Thanks, Addie. I'm here in the Miller TV studio, which you can see now hosts Asbury's latest sitcom set. Students in Professor Weaver Seitz' class have been working all semester to make this production a reality. This is not the first sitcom to ever come to Asbury. And back in 2017, the class was a regular option for students. Asbury put a pause on the class being offered to students, and just recently it was picked up by a different professor. This year, the class was comprised of only 10 students. With some collaboration, they were able to come up with this year's sitcom called You'll Figure It Out. The set I'm on right now will host the show and the game night the characters will be a part of. Essentially, the show shows the craziness of a college game night and all the little drama that it may involve. The tagline for the show is Game Night, Rules Optional, Chaos Inevitable. The show will be performed live this Wednesday and Thursday starting at 7 p.m. They are inviting all who want to come see a sitcom filmed. To reserve a seat for the event, you can scan the QR on their posters around campus. Reporting in Wilmore, I'm Spencer Harvey. Back to you in the studio.
Thanks, Spencer. The show is open to all that want to come, but RSVPs are suggested so you have a seat. The door is open at 7 tomorrow for the first night.
Small towns are known for their hidden gems, especially locally owned small businesses. Wilmore is full of small businesses like Drinkling's Coffee Shop. Randy and April Hardman started a mug operation in 2016, selling mugs designed by Randy with funny theological and literary quotes on one side and a picture of the theologian or artist on the other. In 2018, Drinkling's Coffee Shop started on Main Street and has continued to grow. After 2 years in that location, the Hardmans were able to start renovating a house just down the street street to be the new home of Drinklings. The iconic yellow building now hosts the beloved coffee shop. The Hardman's primary goal is to create a space where people can come, hang out, and enjoy each other's company, and create a constant place for the community to feel at home.
With March Madness, sports are at the forefront of many people's minds this time of year. Sports reporter Christian Kotwitz has the latest with both your local and national sports news. Christian?
Thanks, Addie. Sophomore Catherine Stanley energized the day for the Asbury track and field team in their fourth meet of the 2023 campaign, qualifying for the NCCAA National Championship with their 5,000-meter performance. Asbury track and field traveled to Hanover, Indiana on Saturday afternoon to compete in the 9-team Hanover Invitational. The women's team finished right in the middle of the pack, 5th out of 9 teams with 29 points. Hanover College secured the win on the women's side. The Asbury men's team finished 9th on the day with 20 points, just behind the 21 points scored from Earlham and Transylvania. On to the diamond, Asbury softball faced Hanover College for a late-night doubleheader here in Wilmore. The Eagles were unable to compete with the Panthers' powerful offense, falling 12-1 in Game 1 and dropping to Hanover in Game 2, 12-5. The Eagles now move to a record of 5-17 on the season. Their next game is today at 4 against Lindsey Wilson College in Columbia, Kentucky. The men's baseball team had some outstanding plays on the field as they took down Indiana University Purdue in a doubleheader last Thursday. Senior infielder Noah Brown absolutely bruised this baseball for a grand slam. This is his first home run on the year, providing a strong presence at the plate for the Eagles with 13 RBIs so far this season and a 417 batting average. With his offensive performance, Brown has been an essential player for the Eagles and somewhat of an Iron Man, starting in every game. He's one of the team's leaders and had a huge role in the team's 6-game win streak. This may play a big role in the upcoming face-off against Indiana Purdue University this weekend. Outfielder Andrew Billington also had an absolute web gem this past Thursday. With a low line shot, he made this grab in center field. The boys are back in action today at 6 against Berea. On to the national stage in sports. The men's NCAA basketball Final Four lineup is set for this Saturday, April 1st in Houston, Texas. Florida Atlantic will play San Diego State first at 6 p.m. and UConn and Miami to follow. It's quite the lineup of teams this year, as UConn is the only team with Final Four experience. With so many Cinderella stories, many brackets were busted by the round of 32, including mine. Now, onto the baseball field. Opening day is right around the corner, and the MLB will start its opening day, or the 2023 season, this Thursday, but fans already got the baseball action that they've been missing since last fall. Japan took home the World Baseball Classic title last Tuesday. They defeated the defending champions, Team USA. Shohei Ohtani was Japan's shining samurai as he dominated at the plate and on the mound. For the final out, Ohtani struck out his Los Angeles Angels teammate, Mike Trout. This was Team Japan's second ever WBC title. Finally, over to the NBA, the Dallas Mavericks star Luka Doncic was fined $35,000 after making a gesture towards an official during last Wednesday's contest against the Warriors. Doncic made the gesture after he missed a layup with Dallas trailing 125-122 in the game's final 5 seconds. He was guarded under the basket by power forward Draymond Green and believed that Green fouled him on the shot. The game result was of great significance in a tightly packed Western Conference playoff race. The Mavericks would have taken 6th place in the conference. Instead, they have fallen to 36 and 37, 8th place in the West, and now require them to advance from the play-in tournament to secure a playoff spot. That's all the sports news I have. Back to you, Addie.
Turning over to national news, Monday marked a grim day in America with a school shooting that left 6 people and the shooter dead at a private school in Nashville. 3 of those killed were children. Investigators have obtained a manifesto written by the shooter and are working to find additional evidence. Steve Naines has more details.
An all too familiar and tragic scene at an American school, this time in Nashville, a community now in mourning.
I am overwhelmed at the thought of the loss of these families, of the future lost by these children and their families.
Authorities say a 28-year-old entered the Covenant School in Nashville and opened fire, killing 6 people.
Is it a targeted attack?
It was. The victims identified by Nashville police include 3 adults and 3 children. Police have confirmed the shooter was a former student and had detailed drawings of maps of the school, which included entry points. The shooter has no criminal history and carried 2 AR-style weapons in the attack, which authorities say were legally obtained.
We have a manifesto, we have some writings that we're going over that pertain to this day, the actual incident.
In Washington, a plea from President Joe Biden to Congress to take action on guns.
We have to do more to stop gun violence. It's ripping our communities apart.
Meanwhile, the residents of Nashville are left in shock, families forever altered.
When we send our kids to school or to any place of safety, we expect them to live, learn, have fun, and come back from that day's experience. We don't anticipate things like this.
I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
Police say they are currently focusing on Hale's writings and videos from the school. They may release some of that video to the public soon.
President Joe Biden is using his executive privilege to ban U.S. government agencies from using spyware operationally. The executive order targets tools deemed a threat to national security or implicated in human rights abuses. It comes as a bipartisan group of U.S. lawmakers calls for an international coalition aimed at combating spyware. It can threaten American diplomats, and about a dozen State Department employees' phones were hacked in 2021. The human rights concern comes from the ability of governments to use hacking to suppress opposition voices. The executive order does not ban the FBI and other agencies from using spyware for testing purposes.
Fort Hood in Texas is getting renamed. A ceremony will take place in May to rename the Army base after General Richard Edward Cavajos. He made military history in 1982 when he became the Army's first Hispanic 4-star general. Cavajos served in the Army for 33 years and was known for his leadership skills. He died in 2017. Fort Hood is currently named after Lieutenant General John Bell Hood, who was a Confederate leader during the Civil War. Fort Hood is one of the several military bases undergoing a name change after a congressional committee recommended removing Confederate names from military bases.
You may have seen them at the mall, outside the grocery store, or in your neighborhood. It's Girl Scout cookie season. One enterprising scout in Alaska built her own cookie drive-thru, and customers are eating it up. Dave Allgood reports.
Have a great day. Thank you.
If you build it, they will come.
It worked for me.
And I came by and got me 4 boxes of cookies.
I'm selling Girl Scout cookies out of my mobile cookie booth.
Girl Scout cookies. 17-year-old Kayla Malchoff, she built it.
Before, it used to be a 1970s pull-behind Prowler before I scrapped it down to the frame and built it from the ground up.
It took her about 3 years to kind of get it to where it's at right now.
Yep, 36 months. That's Kayla's mom. She couldn't ask for s'more from her daughter.
I am very, very proud of her.
And these little tag-alongs?
So my mom and younger sister and then my younger brother are in the booth helping.
Kayla's cookie creation cart has all the ingredients for success.
Stocking up on Girl Scout cookies.
So I hope the cookies are still there.
Maybe it's the color.
I've driven by it before. I'm attracted to purple.
Purple is my favorite color, so.
Yeah, the purple box is the one that I like.
Maybe it's tasty cookies and a good business spice.
Great marketing skills. It's very attractive. It's colorful.
Was mimicking the idea of a coffee kiosk.
Maybe it's a cookie custom.
It's tradition to eat Girl Scout cookies.
A long-time sister for Girl Scout cookies. Anytime they come around, I'm there for the cookies.
I'm not going to share my addiction on camera.
What? Okay, maybe it's a cookie song.
We have cookies, Girl Scout cookies.
Maybe it's easy like Sunday morning.
It's very convenient for them to just drive up and then get their cookies.
I don't have to get out of my car. I can drive up like McDonald's and get what I want.
Maybe it's too convenient.
Drive up, get your cookies, and go.
Entrepreneurial eureka.
Wow.
They really give me a lot of compliments of how it's a smart idea and how it's very convenient for them.
Maybe it's thinking about the box.
Really refreshing to see somebody that takes an expectation to go out and sell your cookies and double times it, triple times it, and quadruples it.
Maybe coloring cookies are just super cool.
Put me on the news. Rock and roll, man. Love it.
Cool as a Thin Mint, Kayla and her cookie hut.
Tag-alongs, do-si-dos, lemon ups, Thin Mints.
I wanted to support, and why not support with a Thin Mint?
Maybe it's just a warm, gooey family hug and a vision.
Putting a dream out there and making it happen and stuff, so.
Get them before they're gone. We also take card. Jazz hands!
No maybe about it. Kayla Malchoff is...
Hi, my name's Kayla, and I'm a Girl Scout, and I'm selling cookies.
Cookie cool.
I love Girl Scout cookies, and that is such a clever way to sell them.
Kayla is definitely a business-savvy Girl Scout. Apparently, though, the end of the March, she expects to sell 5,000 boxes of cookies.
That is much higher than the average. That's currently around 300 boxes per girl, according to last year's sales.
Cookie season is coming to an end in April, so those last few boxes may be going quickly.
Well, that's all we have for you today. Thank you for tuning in and allowing us to give you your weekly campus news.
Have a great week, and we'll see you next Tuesday, Asbury.